Hello, everybody. Welcome to Day Drinking with Authors. I'm in like the darkest room ever. Day drinking. What a lie. The interview series where I pick an author or I pick a book that I can't wait to read or that I know I'm going to love, and the author picks a drink and we talk about both. And today's author, Naima Simone, I've had a day today. I've had like a real day, and Naima Simone's romances are made for days like today. Like when you've just had a little bit enough of the world. You just want to shut the door and slip into a world that's got plenty of conflict and plenty of problems, and they reflect the world I live in. But I don't know, people, you know they're going to be okay. And anyway, she writes books that you need for days like today. So we're going to get to her in a second. I'm going to read the back cover copy. So the book that I read, she's writing this Rose Bend series, and I read the latest novella, A Kiss to Remember, that's like deeply set in fall and so lovely. It's 8 million degrees here right now. So I was going to wear a sweater, but that didn't. but tonight we're going to be talking really about the whole series and all this other stuff that she's got going on, because the last time I interviewed her, I called her the hardest working woman in romance, and she's not taking her foot off the pedal. So I'm going to give you the back cover copy of A Kiss to Remember, and then we'll bring her in. It starts with an unexpected kiss. Remy Donovan doesn't know what possessed Declan Howard to sidle up to her desk and ask for a kiss, but she's not about to turn him down. After all, she's had a secret crush on the sexiest sin wealth manager since he set foot in Rose Bend 2 years ago. Still, why steal a kiss from a small town librarian when a man like Declan could have any woman he wants? For Declan, the plan is simple: fake a relationship with Remy to keep his ex off his back and his matchmaking mother happy. As the charade brings them closer, it ignites something real, something neither can ignore. But before they can build a happy future together, they'll both have to reconcile with the past. Short, sweet, perfect. Let's bring in Naima.
Hi.
See, you're dressed appropriately. Like it's fall.
I am, because Alabama is tricking me. I know, like, it's cool right now, but I know tomorrow's probably going to be like 90 degrees. It's like, yeah, gotcha.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. There's this thing called global warming that I'm in Canada and it's 1 million degrees, and you're in Alabama and you've got a sweatshirt.
No, the rapture is near.
I'm a little worried about the rapture. I don't know that I would get.
I need to get right. I need to get over, because there's something not right about this. It's not.
It's true, and we're drinking. Like we decided to take a week off drinking, and we went with hot cocoa.
Yes, I got mine. Let me bring it in. I got mine out of my heart drinking cup.
That's getting out early, huh? How? Okay, so Christmas in your life. Are you a huge Christmas fan? When do the decorations go up?
I am a total Christmas fan. Like, it's just my favorite time of the year. And I personally start celebrating very early, like as soon as as I'm allowed to, like the first, like recently, I think it was like earlier last week, I saw the first commercial, like holiday themed commercial with the creamers. And I got so excited. And then
you're like, it's go time.
I know. I was like, I know, it's my time of year. I'm ready to go. I'm with it. And then Lifetime, I saw their commercial for the new movies that are coming out. October, I'm ready for it. But my husband won't allow me to put up anything in the house until after Thanksgiving, because he believes in celebrating Thanksgiving, giving it its due. I'm like, dude,
I will say I'm a Thanksgiving before Christmas person. Like I love Christmas, totally. But Thanksgiving, and I feel like, tying it to your book, I feel like you nailed so much of that feeling. Like, it was a fall book, you had Halloween was being celebrated at the library, but like you could tell football games were happening, homecoming was happening,
thing.
Yeah. Oh. And I'm from a small town, and it really resonated. It made me a little homesick, I will say.
Well, I shouldn't say, I should be like, oh, I'm sorry, but inside I'm going, yay.
Writers are so weird that way, right? Oh gosh, did it hurt when you read my book? Did you cry? Yes. Did it make you think sad things? But it's also like what I was saying before, like one of the things that I like, I don't like when people call romance like comfort reads or escapism, you know, because in my purview of romance is like romance is what I go to feel something. Like
Love it.
it's not like a forgetful place. It's where I go to remember like feeling things in this world where we're, you know,
It's
but
nuts.
so I don't want to say that it was like it's like your books are like escape in that way, but it's just that cozy, warm, the conflicts are real, but it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
That guy's gonna get his head out of his ass.
Guaranteed. It's like I like the books. Like I really love the books where you know that the HEA is guaranteed. Like that's why we read romance in the first place because we know it's going to work out. But I love when the author makes me doubt. But how is it going to happen? How can it happen? I know it's going to happen because most of the time I've looked to the back of the book to make sure it happens. I don't want no surprises on my happily ever after.
This guy is not gonna die.
Before. So I make sure I'm that person in Books a Million or Barnes and Nobles who's flipping to the back of the book to make sure this ends how I want it to end. Then I'll buy it. But you know, when an author can make me question, but how? I don't see how this can possibly work out. Like I love that. I absolutely love that.
I will say, and again, this isn't particular to A Kiss to Remember, but it's more about the first book in the Rose Bend series, where your hero is a widower,
Mhm.
and he's back in this small town. He's got this. I don't want to give anything away for anybody who hasn't read it, but he's got this thing that is about his wife who had died. Like
Yeah.
it's this real thing, and the hero and the heroine go a long way in their relationship. Like they get married. They get married, and it still comes down to this: he can't quite let it go, and his rationale is so reasonable and heartbreaking and
Yeah.
real. And I was just like, they got married, and that guy's gonna leave. I mean, you took me pretty far down that road, lady.
Yeah, like that was hard because you know you don't want to like overwhelm the reader with grief, but you want to make it realistic enough that you know if this is the love of his life and he lost her in a horrible way because he lost her in childbirth along with his son. And so yeah, his grief is real and that's not easy to get over, and there's guilt there, and so it was hard to get over. And then they end up in this marriage of convenience where they always promise, listen, we can have sex and not get any of those messy feelings involved. Yeah, we all know that's the biggest lie ever.
Best.
And they just get all involved. And so he has to like make a choice to let it go or to have her. And it wasn't that easy for him. It wasn't because it was more
Oh,
than grief, it was guilt, it was shame involved in that.
yeah, it was really, really well done. And again, I don't want to give. I mean, we're talking about a different, but the first book. So well, okay, we'll get back to that. So the A Kiss to Remember is a novella in this Rose Bend series. So it's set in the southern Berkshires. Are you frozen? I'm scared you're frozen. Blink. Shoot.
Oh, there we go. It's like my internet. I was like, not again.
All of ours. So this is a novella set in the Rose Bend world. How do you how is writing short? Do you like writing short versus writing long? Because if you're writing a couple of these novellas, you're frozen again, and I'm just going to keep talking until you come back.
Okay, I'm back. I hate my
Could be mine too. I mean, the world,
Oh,
everything's so online.
okay, we're back though. I'm here.
Okay.
I
Did you
see
hear
you.
my question about
No.
novella? Okay, for the
Third time's going to be the charm.
So this is a novella set in this Rose Ben series. How do you like writing short? Do you find it challenging? Do you like it? How do you plot a book that's a novella versus a book that's 90,000 words, 100,000 words?
I actually find it more difficult because, well, what happened, like, what had happened was contract for the 3 books, but then they were like, okay, well, we want a couple more novellas thrown in there, and I'm not going to say no. So, but for me, it was supposed to be 10K. That's so hard for me. I've done it before, but my 10K ended up being like 20. So, but even that's still hard because you have to really pack a satisfying romance from beginning to end and have the reader feel like they read a really complete story that they're invested in, including the characters, their romance, their, them as people just growing like for their full character arc, and feel like they received a whole story that they can really root for. And doing all that in 20K is difficult. So
Yeah, 10K is ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It's like, oh my God. And then it's even more difficult if they don't know each other. If they do know each other, it's like, okay, they have history. You could just like jump on in there. But if they don't know each other, you have to find a way of building up their relationship without making it look like totally fake.
Right. And you, I mean, as a person who's read a lot of your books, you can't resist not throwing in some family. You're like, yeah, she's got sisters. She wasn't going to have sisters, but guess what? She has sisters.
She got like 2 of them. Then a mother who ain't. I was just telling another author that like last night, like LaQuette. I was telling her last night, I just love writing about families. I mean, because to me, families have a hand in shaping who we are, like our belief systems, whether it's going to go one way or another, who we are as people, like our decisions, whether we're going to be the if our family is like really loud and boisterous, are we going to be loud and boisterous? Or are we going to be the introvert who just like shies away from that? Mm-hmm. They really influence a lot of that. And then I don't know, for some reason, I just like writing dysfunctional people to the point that my editor one time asked me, I'm just going to ask, are you and your parents okay? I was like, no, I love them. They're wonderful. Because I keep writing these really effed up parents.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. You do. It's funny. Like, that's a good. They're not. I mean, they are. They're totally effed up, but they're like,
yeah.
It's the kind of effed up that's real, right? Like the mom in this novella is, I mean, she's not a. I mean, she's awful, but she's not a monster. She's not, she's got strong relationships with the other sisters. Mm-hmm. She's just really hard on Remy. In her mind, she's hard on her for the right reasons. Like he believes what she's saying.
She really does. And in her mind, she's doing it out of love. In her mind, she's well-intentioned. Mm-hmm. Because she only sees it one way. She doesn't see the damage that she's caused and that Remy has had to really overcome. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, and that's like how a lot of people are. A lot of our, some of our parents are like that. They see things a certain way because of either generational or things from their past, how they were raised. And so they push things on us, or they say things to us out of love, not knowing that they're causing damage, emotional damage, like self-esteem issues later on down the road. And so that's what she was. She wasn't a bad woman. She was just, really obtuse.
Did not see what she was doing, and didn't see that the world had changed in so many ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying she didn't see that at all.
Yeah. One of the things that I liked, I mean, you do have this this, I mean, every romance writer loves a good wound, a good parent caused wound. Oh wait, I was going to say something before this. I'm going to forget so many things. I gotta write it down. Are you watching Ted Lasso?
No, and I keep seeing all over Facebook, everybody's talking about Ted Lasso. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, what
It,
show? Where
it,
can I find him?
it's Apple TV, and it's worth finding. It's worth finding. It is a writer's dream. It's a romance writer's dream. But Ted Lasso, there's this situation where he's a coach, and the team owner, her mother shows up, and they have this quick chat, and then Ted Lasso turns and says to his assistant coach, "I love meeting people's parents. It's like getting their instruction manual."
So true.
So true. So true. I mean, like, I mean, I guess it's inevitable that we're going to do it to our kids, right? Like, people are going to meet our kids, and then we're going to show up, and they're going to be like, "Oh, I get it."
I've had that happen. Makes sense.
You've had that happen?
Well, I mean, when they meet, like, especially my son, because my son is more like me than my daughter. She's like a total extrovert, but my son is really, he can be quiet, but then when he gets to know you, he's just so silly. And then like people who know me and then they hang around my son enough, they're like, yeah, I see where he gets that from. Yeah.
It's making sense. So you have so you were writing Harlequin Desires, and then this Rose Bend series came out. And how did it happen? And I mean, in for those of you who aren't writers and are just readers, it's a big jump in word count. Like, it's a whole bunch more story, like a lot of more stories. So how was that jump? How did it happen? How did it come to you? Tell us all about it.
Well, when I started writing for Desire, I wrote several books, and then my editor asked my agent, "Has Naima considered writing for HQN?" And my editor asked me, and I was like, "Yeah, I would love to do that." I mean,
That's
scary, yeah, because I've never written. Literally, the HQN books are twice the size of the category length books, like twice. But I mean, I've always wanted to write a single title book just to stretch who I am as a writer. And then with a single title book, you can write such a bigger cast of characters, a larger plot that isn't so streamlined with contemporary, because that's 50K and you got to get right to the point. It's got to be focused really on the hero and the heroine. There's not really room for a side plot.
Right.
It's just them.
You get one sister.
She don't even get a chapter. Like, she gets a cameo, like, and enough to drop a hint that she's going to have the next book.
Yeah, right.
Her stuff. And so I had room to just like expand. It was scary to think it, but I was like, yeah. And I was talking to my father in the kitchen one day, and I was like, "Daddy, well, I have this opportunity to send a proposal in, and I would really love," because it was October of a couple of years ago, and the Hallmark movies are starting to come on, and and I was like, I would really love to write a Christmas book with a small town, with like a family that's loud and really nosy and boisterous, and make it like us, like our family, except like really diverse, like a reflection of this world, like how this world should be, and just make them so loving, and then have all the siblings just fall in love and add sex. And then my father was like, "Naima, I think that's your wheelhouse."
Right. If there's one person who can do it, it's you.
Yeah, because he knows my love for Christmas. He knows my love for, like, Hallmark movies, and he knows what I write. So, and then writing about like family.
And your voice is the perfect voice for that, like that Venn diagram, right? Like it's like the center of all of those things is you, for sure. one of the things that I love about the book, and it's a diverse family. There's some adoption. Everybody, like, it's a big family. It is boisterous. It comes from all places. One of the things that I really love is how all your white characters are wrestling or confronting their privilege. And I feel like you don't see that in small town romances. Like, you have some that are wrestling and failing. You have some that hopefully will, but they're you're addressing it. And I just find that really kind of refreshing in this wheelhouse.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't think we can realistically write if we're writing contemporary romance and we're writing in the setting is today's world and not confront some of these things that we're facing. We don't live in a bubble. Even if we're writing, especially since my characters are especially the Road to Rose Ben, she's a Black woman and he's a Puerto Rican hero. And even though it's a small town, it's a loving town. It's a where they're very inclusive but they don't live in a bubble. They still live in the United States and Massachusetts. And so you still have people and that rot of racism and stuff. It's still there. Maybe not as pervasive because of the town that they live in, but it's still there. They live in the United States, it's in the United States. So I think I don't try to beat people over the head with it because, it's a romance and I want people to, you know, enjoy the romance. And I'm not a political writer. I don't really, I, don't- I'm not savvy in politics. I'm not, so it's not something I even like to discuss on my Facebook page a lot. Only on sometimes will I, because it's a place where I go to be happy. So I don't and a lot of that is not happy.
Yeah,
So that's not really my wheelhouse as far as bringing like social things into my books, but I am a realist and I like to write about some of the issues, just bring it into my books because it's the world we live. And if romance, where our books are about love and about healing and about redemption, what better place is that to bring up a subject like that and to show it being handled with courage, love, sensitivity? There's no better place to do that, I think.
I think
And
you are right, 100%. And yes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just
oh
agree.
no, no, I'm finished. That's what I like to do. I don't like it to be. I'm like I said, I'm not a political writer. I'm not. That's not my strong point. But I do thread it in, because it's just real. It's just real, and it's an opportunity for all of us to have our eyes open to another person's perspective. And that's so important, to be able to sometimes points get lost when everybody's so loud. But if
Mhm.
you're reading and you're reading this romance and you're reading characters that you're truly invested in, maybe it might be easier for you to hear it in that venue. You know
Right,
what I mean?
totally.
And so, yeah, I don't think there's a better place to address it than or to touch it than romance.
And it's you talk about it being political, and and of course it is. I mean, it's an absolute flashpoint of controversy in politics, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, and
No.
particularly in the kinds of stories that you're telling. It's just humans being humans
Yeah.
and 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 trying. And I
Yeah.
remember reading somewhere that, like, the two best ways to teach people or to learn empathy is travel and reading. Like, it's the only way you're going to get
Oh,
out of your own
totally
space.
see that.
And
Yeah.
and I feel like romance, I mean, we do not need to get into all of the whiteness of romance, but this is this is a this is these books are a beautiful way of beginning an empathy conversation that doesn't feel political, that doesn't feel judgy, that doesn't feel like it is just good romance, good people. And I love these heroes who are like, yeah, I know I'm privileged. Like it's a real, I love it. So anyway, thank you so much for that. One thing that you did just say about like talking with your dad, these books are still really hot.
Yeah, well, listen, I couldn't change that. As a matter of fact, when I was talking to my editor about the series, and I said, well, the powers that be, they do know that this isn't going to be sweet, right? I'm still going to write my love scenes like how I write my love scenes. And she's like, oh, yeah, yeah. We already told them that. Like, they know. Now listen, I don't have anything against sweet romance. I mean, I just don't read it because I like sex in my books. I like to write sex in my books. Because I find it's a way that
There's no shame.
communicate. Like, and I just love to read it. So I'm gonna write it. Yeah, this is not like a sweet romance. It's heavy on the emotion because I love writing that, like angsty, and well, like the series, like Road to Rose Bend, A Kiss to Remember. It is a little lighter on the angst because it's 20,000, but still, it has its moments. But yeah, it's hot, like dirty talkers and everything.
Dirty talkers and everything. So when you saw that cover, were you like, hey,
Here's the
uh-oh?
thing. I, I don't want people to be. I tell everybody all the time, do not let the cover bridge fool you. Like there's some things going on in Rose.
Yeah, I feel like you were a gateway for a bunch of little old ladies.
I think I've gotten like a couple of emails because I think, and listen, when I wrote it, and we were going over like what the covers, like what I expected from what I would like to see in the covers. I wanted a Thomas Kincaid cover. Like that
Yeah.
was my dream. Like, because it's a small town and I've been so obsessed with him for years. And it was just like my dream to have that's what I based Rose Ben on, like the towns and his paintings. And so to have that kind of
Yeah.
image on the cover, I just loved it. Like, and I love the Christmas and Rose Ben, the cover for that. It's just beautiful. And so I'm like, yeah, but don't get fooled by the sweetness of the cover. There's a lot of burning. It's slow burn, but it's burning in them pages.
It really is. It really is. And it's also the like, as a person who's read romance for so long, and you go in like, I don't know if you as a reader, you're like, so all I'll read is like 50,000 words, alien, sci-fi romance for like 3 months, and then I'm done with that. And then I've got to, so you go in these sort of binges. And I wasn't reading big, long contemporary romances for a long time. And then I picked up yours, and I was like, oh, that's right. When you add all this, when you have the word count to add all this extra drama, the sex is hotter. Like all that drama, like gets brought into the bedroom or the wherever, and it's just hotter.
It is, because it's like it's building up and it's building up and it's building up. So when it happens, it's like fire.
Yeah.
And then the sexual tension up till then is like, yeah, that's my thing. I love to weave that into the books, and also have more room to weave that into the books. So yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
So another question that I wanted to ask you, and I'm going to take some notes. Your answer. You crush a grovel. Like your guys, and not in every book, but like, I mean, a lot of your books, it's the guys who grovel.
Yeah.
And you, like, do you go into it knowing like readers love the guy to grovel? Like, do you go into most books okay, so that's your thing. So, but you crush this grovel. How do you go into the end of the book? How do you go into that grovel scene?
Well, I like, before I start plotting, I write out a very, very detailed character sketch for the hero and the heroine. And I mean, I include everything: age, what they look like, backstory, their issues, their flaws, what they need from the hero, the heroine, or the hero, what they need from their families, everything, right down to whether they like coffee or tea, even if it's not going to make it on the page. I like write them so in depth that I know them inside and out by the time I go to start the book. And by then, I know who's going to do the grovel because it's the person who has the bigger issues that need to do the grovel. In other
Right.
words, the person that effed up more needs to do the grovel. And it's usually the guy, even though in my last in the Christmas book, it's the woman who does the grovel. And in scoring the player's baby, it was the women who did the grovel. So I have a couple of books. I'm trying to think like the last, yeah. And in the last Rose Bin book is the woman who does the grovel. So I don't know. I might be changing.
Well, you can't, I know that very smart romance writers and very successful romance writers, they're like, yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing that readers love. And I'm just going to keep doing this thing. And they're very, very successful doing that thing. I, who have never been very, very successful, keep going like, yeah, I know that's the thing, but also I'm going to do this. So, you're
Oh
allowed
my
to
God,
do
Molly. I don't even want to hear that because I was telling my husband, I was like, I got a live with, Molly Fader, and he's looking at me like he does that with all the whenever I mentioned any author except for Nalini Singh, because I've made him buy, like, he's bought her books for me like every anniversary, if she has a book out around every anniversary. Other than that, he's just like, okay. I'm like, ugh, it's
Oh, that's too
it's
sweet.
M. O'Keefe, okay?
Your
I am
husband's like
such
that.
a girl. My father told me, "Do not go on here being a goof." Okay,
Who
I was
told you
like,
that?
"Oh," my father, "Don't go on here
No,
being a goof and being because I knew I was gonna fangirl because you
no.
are such a fabulous author. I have read like everything you've written."
Oh, thank you. That's nice of you.
I'm trying to be
Well
you,
done,
like
Tamar.
I'm trying to have my name on the Harlequin art form. Okay.
Oh.
I'm trying to be you over
Well,
here.
you're doing
Oh,
it.
your
You're
books
doing
are
it.
so
You're killing it out
wonderful.
there. You really are killing it. But you're not just killing it. Oh, wait. I feel like you haven't answered my question because I didn't write steal your secrets. What is the key to a good grovel for you?
Oh, right. Um, it's it depends on how bad they messed up, is how big the grovel is going to be. And you always, like I said, the person who has the most to lose and who effed up the most and has the most issues is the person who's going to do the grovel. And it's really, the grovel is really particular to the character. So it can be something as grand as like in one book the heroine had been jilted by her fiance and for her sister, for her stepsister. And so in the end, she decided she went to the wedding just to, she went to their wedding and at the reception just to go. And then the hero who had messed up and needed to apologize, he showed up at the reception and basically told them, "Yeah, I know I'm about to steal your moment, but you owe her because you're both, basically you're both shitty. So I owe her." And he apologized to her at the reception. So that was their thing because that was pertinent to their story. But then,
But you don't
on
always do big moments. Like you don't always have a grand gesture.
it really depends on the character because on another, like the book I just finished, it's between them. It's a quiet moment between them after like this pageant that he pulled, that he showed up at, that she didn't believe he would. And they had a quiet moment over to the side where he just said everything that needed to be said that spoke to her heart. And so it really depends on the hero and the heroine and what their issues are, what's special to them. Is it a place that's special to them, a word that's special to them, a moment? It really rolls back to something in the book, and it connects back to something in the book that makes the grovel really special to the hero and the heroine. So sometimes it's really grand, sometimes and it's public, but sometimes it's private. It just
Mhm.
really depends on the story and the characters. But they always must apologize. Like they must come with like from the heart for apologizing for what they did. And they always must understand, not from their viewpoint, what they did wrong, but from the heroine's
They're the
viewpoint,
character.
how they did wrong. And they got to make her understand that they get it. Like they honestly get it. Because if they don't get it, she's like, damn it, you'll do it again. And so
Yeah.
there's like it builds that trust there. So that always has to happen. Not the same words, not the same actions, but it has to be made to be understood.
See, that's an upsetting answer to me because I feel like all the subtext of that was like, Molly, just be a better writer. Molly, just pay attention to your characters. Well, so you are not just writing the Rose Bend. Do you have any more desires left on a contract? Are you still doing more of those?
Yes, I'm writing. I write my next desire in December. My next one is due in December. And then after that I have 4 more to write.
Holy, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk. Tell me about your schedule. Tell me what is happening. How you just finished a book today.
No, I finished a book 2 weeks ago. And yeah, what I was telling you was my writing, we do my critique, she's not my critique partner, but my writing partner, we do challenges together every day. So we really write together every day. And for finishing that book, she mailed me cookies. Because it was tough. This summer has been tough for me with finishing books, just because like everything I've, this year, it's just
Yeah.
been, tough. And so my writing has kind of like struggled. So finishing that book was a big deal. And so she sent me cookies. So,
Did
but I
you
just finished that.
a quick side note, did you, because I'm really struggling at the end of summer and it's like in a way that like during the rest of this pandemic, I was kind of like, I'm fine. I can write. Everything's okay. Bah, bah, bah. Contracts and work and
Yeah.
books and like it's all fine. And then I feel like end of July, August hit, and I'm just like, I have to do what now?
Oh, totally.
I'm
Like
sorry,
even
write a what?
last year, I was good. I mean, because, and I hate to say it, but being locked down really didn't. I'm a hermit. Like I'm a recluse. Like the only place I would go was like the Books a Million, and that was a struggle. So I had to get myself out the house to go. I loved going. I
Mhm.
loved going, but getting up and getting out the house was the problem. So I would go like 2 times a week. So not having that, but then I got my office, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. Pandemic, I'm good. So I was really like knocking books out like
Yeah,
during the pandemic. It didn't really affect me, but this year, like, because I lost my mom, and then yeah,
I'm so
and so
sorry.
that oh, thank you. And but that really affected my writing. Like so from April to even now, it's like I'm just kind of like really getting back into the groove of it. But it just really slowed me down a lot.
Mhm.
And so I was just like struggling with getting the words out. So anytime I finished a book, I finished a third Rosebud book in July, and then the first Montlake book I just turned in 2 weeks ago. So it felt like such an accomplishment finishing those 2 books since she's passed, because I struggled, and it just felt good, and that's why she sent me the cookies.
It should feel, I mean, it's a thing to celebrate, in regular times. Finishing 2
Yeah,
books in that amount of time is amazing, but, while grieving and probably suffering from some burnout, like, you deserve some
yeah.
cookies at the
I know.
least.
I'm gonna kill those cookies. Let me tell you,
So,
I'm not even sharing.
you've been basically under deadline
Yeah,
for
I rolled out a one deadline, and now I'm got another one November 1st.
shut up. Come on.
Book two of the Montlake series. So
How long are the books?
this one, it's like 75K. Yeah.
So is there something that happens in your house? Like, because I just finished a deadline too. And I'm going to tell you the story in the hopes that it will make you tell an embarrassing story. I finished this deadline and I am wearing clothes that I have worn and slept in for maybe 2 to 3 days.
2 to 3 days. That's good. Okay. I'm not even going to.
There's like, and my husband is a change. he's been handling the cooking. We've had all this stuff going on with kids back at school. Like there's been a lot. I want to say this is not just between us, but I feel like day drinkers can handle it. There was like, it's so hot here. There's like a whole boob sweat situation. I've gone swimming. So I go downstairs and I will have a drink on Thursday nights and maybe a drink on the weekend, but I don't tend to drink. I don't tend to drink during the weekdays as a rule. And I open up this bottle of wine and I was like, I finished it. I finished the book. And I was like, wow, that's okay. That's great. I was like, I'm gonna make dinner. I'm gonna make dinner. And he's like, okay, that's okay. We can order. I was like, no, I'm gonna make dinner. And I had read this thing about putting potatoes, wrapping or like smearing bacon fat on baked potatoes. All I've wanted is a baked potato. I love baked potatoes. So you smear bacon fat all over a potato and then you bake it and it gets really crispy.
Oh my gosh. Does it work? Because I want to try that. It's bacon.
Because I smear it with bacon fat and then like I don't put it on a cooking tray. So I put it in the oven and all that fat falls onto the oven floor and it catches fire. So, I am drinking like a coffee cup of wine in 3-day-old clothes. There's a fire coming out. Adam like sorts it out. Adam, he puts it out and he's like, you shouldn't cook. You just shouldn't cook when you're on deadline. No. That was Monday. I think that was Monday. So then I get like mad. Like I feel like I don't know why I got mad. Because I haven't slept for 3 days. And I'm like, they're fine. The potatoes are fine. Raw in the middle. And I ate one just to like show.
You ate it out of pure stubbornness at that point.
Adam was like, Molly, I can order you a baked potato. Fine. Totally fine. And the oven wasn't even on fire. And it was like on fire.
Oh my God.
Anyway, anything like that? I mean, is it rough for you? I mean, you've been on deadline for like months. I mean, it's got to feel like you don't know what day it is. You don't know, like.
I tell you, during that last book, I'm not gonna lie, Molly, I got you 2 to 3 days of same clothes and everything. I do, because I would get up at because I take the dog out at like 6, and I just start writing, and I'd be writing all the way up until like 9 or 10, and then and maybe later, depending if I'm at a good spot, and then go to sleep and do it all over again. And then the last day when I could just see the end of it in sight, I got up 30 in the morning and I wrote until I finished it. And when I did, I just I was like a good 4 or 5 days in.
What's that smell?
My husband actually slept next to me. I was like, no shower. I was wearing the same pajamas. I swear to God, every time I took the dog out, I know for some reason, the neighbor across the street always seemed to walk out at the same time. And I know he's thinking, isn't that what I saw her in yesterday?
Oh, they said,
I was like,
right?
I'm a shower. I can use that time to write a paragraph. I don't need that.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
Gosh, we really were.
right by the time I finished.
It's funny what it's like how anything will break the flow, right? Like anything, like you're in the zone. A shower is destruction. You take a shower, it's like you might as well go to bed. You might as well just quit.
Because what people don't understand it, because I've heard, because when I said this like a couple of years ago, I posted, I finished the book, now I can shower. And somebody's like, you haven't showered? Like, dude, don't judge me, number one. And two, no, I can't shower, because it's not just the shower. The shower is 10 minutes. But then by the time you get back to your computer and you get back into the mind frame of the book, and a whole 2 hours have passed. No, I cannot afford to shower right now. No, I can shower later when it's done. In the meantime, y'all stop breathing. Because you don't need to breathe.
Simmer down. Simmer down, everybody. Okay, so you the next thing that you have out is Christmas. I mean, what is this? This series needs a Christmas book for sure.
I know, and I love Christmas, and it's Christmas in Rose Bend, and
Perfect.
it's Wolf's book, like Coltrane, the mayor from Rose Bend. It's his brother's book, and I've never written a Scrooge here. Well, because I've never written a Christmas book, like a full-length Christmas book. The heroine is the Scrooge, and he's like all sunshine, and she's the grump. And so I'm really, really excited about it coming out, and I hope y'all love it. I'll be receiving yours very soon.
Oh, good. Oh, good. It was all caught up in that I can't shower thing, and I was like, I was gonna email your editor, and you know how it is. I just
Oh yes, I do. Yes, if I don't do it right then and there, then somebody needs to email and remind me like in a few days, because I will never remember. So, but yes, you should receive yours, and I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Your opinion.
And if you haven't read the first book in Rose Bend, why am I blanking on it? What's the first book?
The Road to Rose Bend.
The Road to Rose Bend. I was like, the Bend to Rose Bend. That doesn't make
sense. No, I wanted that, but they vetoed it for some reason. I don't know why.
The Road to Rose Bend. If you haven't read that book, you should pick it up before the Christmas book, because the two brothers and the mom in that book is, I mean, I did write this as a question, and again, I don't want to oh shoot. Well, we'll ask that question next time I have you on. I'll ask you that question I was going to ask. But the relationship with the mom, he has this beautiful conversation with his mom that gets him to this moment of like accepting his first wife's death and sort of relieving some of that guilt and shame. And it was like, I don't know, it was a really beautiful moment between them.
I think I might have teared up a little when I wrote that, and I don't tear up a lot, but I think I might have just like,
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Really beautiful. Well, I can't wait for Christmas at Rose Bend. Everybody get out there and read Bend of Rose Bend. Road to Rose Bend. Pick up A Kiss to Remember. It'll put you in the mood for fall, even though it's 1 million degrees.
Yeah.
And they're all like standalones.
While you're doing it.
Pardon?
I said they need to read their hot chocolate while they're doing it.
Yeah, you want it. You want hot chocolate and a sweater and a football game, 100%. Everybody out there, thanks for joining us, Naima. Thank you. It is a pleasure. One of these days, we will be in person. We will shut some bar down, won't we?
I know. It's going to be on, and I'm just going to embarrass both of us by the loud squeal. So yeah, just prepare yourself.
It'll be mutual, totally mutual. Everybody out there, stay safe. I almost said read a drink. Guys, I finished a book on my way. read a book and have a drink, everybody. Good night.
Bye.